Good morning, Wildcats. It's Wildcat Wednesday, and it's a snowy Wednesday. So I am blessed to have Mr. Chad Sheets with me and Mrs. Christy Henderson. They are going to talk a little bit today about amazing things that are going on in Blackmore. So take it away.
All right. Can I share my screen? Is that okay?
Yes, you should be able to. Let me make sure you should be able to. All right, you should be able to.
All right. Let's see if this will let me do this. Boom. Okay. Hopefully that works. So it is Wildcat Wednesday, and we're thankful to be featured today on the snow day. And so I went out and I took a picture of the building. That's this morning. Right here at Blackmore. I did try to go around this morning to measure some of the snow drifts. I couldn't open the doors, so that didn't really work out. So definitely a good reason why our kids are at home today. Our maintenance crew is out there rocking it right now, so really appreciate all of those folks for everything that they do for us and for our district to make sure that kids are safe and that we can be in the buildings. And one of the drifts I did measure was 23 inches right in front of one of the doors there, Mrs. Tosh. So they were out there working. So definitely going to be a busy day for our maintenance crew today, but really definitely thankful for everything that they do for us, for sure. So this is the presentation that we gave to the board a few months ago, and we're just going to briefly talk through what's on there, if that's okay, Mrs. Tosh. Is that all right? Okay. So this has changed a little bit from the beginning of the year. We are actually up a few students from the time that we did this presentation. Got 7 more cherubs here at Blackmore than we did in the fall. So very thankful for that. Just some pictures running in there. One of my favorite pictures of the year is our friend Michael running into Mrs. Julia Brockway, who is one of our early childhood helpers. And that's just, we love seeing that. Our kids running into school like that, just loving to be here. So really thankful for that. It's been really important for us to create a family feel here at Blackmore. And so anytime that we post stuff, or most every time that we post stuff, Mrs. Henderson's wearing one of our shirts. It says BE Family. So it stands for Blackmore Elementary Family. And we really are big about that family environment here. One of the things that we did at the beginning of the year with the building was set 3 different goals. And so we're just going to talk really briefly about that. Our first one is a district initiative with capturing kids' hearts. And so we're very thankful to have an amazing staff that really works hard at putting all of these pieces in place. And so here are some of the pieces for that. You notice social contracts are on there. Every one of our classroom and learning spaces have one. We have that also for our staff, so that we work together. It's just a social agreement to make a high-performing group. And so we really work hard on those. We review those very, very frequently. And in a lot of our classrooms, you'll see kids trying to earn words on their social contract for some extra incentives. And so just been a really cool opportunity. One thing that is new this year is the Excel model as part of our instructional framework. And so there in the middle of the screen, you see one of our kindergarten classrooms. That's Mrs. Inner's classroom. And she has each one of those pieces of the Excel model written there. And that's more for her and the other adults that support her classroom, because not all of her kids are readers yet. We emphasize that word yet. But definitely just a good reminders for us as the adults to know exactly what our goal and our plan for the day is. Anything on that, Mrs. Henderson? Nope. All right, we're going to keep on rocking. There's another example of that Excel model there. That's a 4th grade classroom. That's Mrs. Morris's class from earlier this year. One thing that we do have in place this year is we have contract raters, and so you'll notice that that's there. Basically, we pick out a couple of kids each day to really go through and help us self-reflect on how we do. And so we really need that accountability and that push. And so it's really important to help our kids understand that that they can do that. It doesn't really matter how old they are. We have kids all throughout our building that are part of those raters. And so definitely working on that. One thing that we didn't have when we did this presentation was some results based upon some survey data that we've done. And so capturing kids' hearts, the way we're doing things now, we have the access to get surveys from students and staff. And we just finished the student survey. It was 1st through 5th grade students that took that, 209 kids. Super proud of the results. On the results, they have a national showcase school target and then what the building scored. And in every single area, we're above the target. So we're really, really, really proud of that. Mrs. Tosh, I don't know if you've seen that yet, but we are green in every single space. And so we are just very, very thankful for what our staff and what our students are doing each and every day to make that rock and roll. My favorite thing is that out of those 209 responses, we got a 4.9 out of 5 on my teachers care about me. And that just makes me very, very thrilled for all of the great things to come. We did write, skipping subjects a little bit, we did write some grants through the Holly Frontier Tim Underwood Memorial and Foundation, and we got around $11,000 earlier this year for 3 of the grants that we wrote. I wrote a grant for active calming centers, and in that bottom picture there, you see some of the pieces to that there. We just got those tools right beginning middle of January, and so we've already begun to implement those in classrooms with kids. This is the one that's in the office area, and it's been really, really cool that just having some additional tools for kids. One thing that we really wanted was to have consistent tools for our kids, so regardless of what classroom space or what space there are in the building, they have access to the same tools so that they know, we're going to calm down, we're going to make sure that we're ready to rock and roll, and then we're going to get back to it. Mrs. Henderson, do you want to talk at all about either that or the conflict resolution mats that we have, or student leadership team? Because all of those things kind of go together.
Yeah. One of the things that we have noticed is that our kids take ownership of things that we teach and model for them. And so when these active calming centers came in, we have a kind of a path for how we're going to teach and model those. We've had teachers and myself included help model and practice the conflict resolution mat with kids, because we want them to we want them to have ownership of that. And then the final piece that Mr. Sheets mentioned was our student leadership team, which is our opportunity to really teach and model and practice those career competencies that we need our kids to know as they move into middle and high school. Social emotional learning is one piece of the job that I get to do, but I also get to work with kids on future planning and things like that. So our student leadership team really hones in and highlights on those kids that have those leadership skills and how to learn to advocate and sharpen those skills. So we're super excited to get that started again. And we're really excited to see how kids really take that leadership and run, especially as they get ready to move into middle school.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of the student leadership team interviews was, so if you don't know, if you're not one of our Blackmore Bear families and you're just out here in Wildcat land, thanks for laughing at my joke, Mrs. Tasha. I thought it was pretty funny. One of the things that we did this year, in the past, we've had teachers nominate kids for student leadership team, and we revamped that process this year, just like Mrs. Henderson shared. We asked kids to fill out an application. With that application, they had to get a letter of recommendation from a staff member. And if they've completed those 2 steps and that was satisfactory, we interviewed those kids. And as part of the interview, we read the letter to them, because most of them hadn't had the opportunity to see that. And it was so powerful for kids to see see themselves in somebody else's eyes. We had some kids in tears just saying that, they never thought another grown-up thought about them like that. And it was just, goosebumps again thinking about it. It was just a super powerful experience. We shared that with Site Council last night. We had some parents on there that have kids that received those letters, and they said that was their favorite part. One of our parents, and Christy, I haven't shared this with you, shared that letter got walked home like this so that it could stay pristine, and it got put on the shelf with the Legos and the other really important things. And so that was really cool to see. And we asked kids to dress the part when they came for an interview, and so dress in their best. And we definitely had kids suited up, fancy dresses and fancy shoes and all sorts of things, just to get them that job prep experience, life experiences that we know that they need. So we've been thrilled with that. As long as we're on for school tomorrow, our first time to meet with those kids is tomorrow. And so we're really excited to get that. It was a month-long process with all of the interviews and the applications and everything. And just really, really excited to see what that looks like.
We have seen a difference too in the way that some of our kids are carrying themselves. We have some students that engage in some poor decision making at times who did make our leadership team. And we are seeing them really embody those ideas of people are watching, I am a leader. And so I think that the long lasting effects of this team are going to be huge.
I agree. And just reminding kids that if they're a leader, they're a model for what we want to see. And that's just been really super powerful. And just that reminder, you're a model. And they do sit up a little taller, stand a little straighter, and are really trying hard to model what that looks like. And that's before we've even really talked about it, because our first time to do this will be tomorrow, as long as we have school. And so anyway, so the next part of the presentation we shared with the board is a building-wide goal that we set at the end of last year, beginning of this year, to really get into the science of reading. And this came down there's lots of education talk right now about the science of reading, but it really came from some legislation that's from our Kansas legislature with dyslexia. And so really starting to dig in and make this work for our building, looking at our instructional routines and different pieces there, looking at what curricular resources that we're using. Are we handing the baton from grade level to grade level and making sure kids are ready to rock and roll? I'm super proud of what our staff has done, because they've really, really dug in. I had 5 teachers that I met with over the summer to kind of dig in and look. And then in the middle of the screen there, you see Mrs. Yeager, Mrs. Eldridge helping go through some of our materials to make sure that that those really met the standard for what we were looking at. And up there in the upper right-hand corner, we spent some time looking through our resources and redesigning our instructional block for literacy and seeing how do we make sure that we are doing the very, very best that we can for kids. And I'm just super proud of what they're doing. We've spent this last week working with teachers on just progress monitoring data. And so we have a new assessment system this year called FastBridge. I know a lot of our parents have already heard about that at the first round of conferences. But we have several data points now in there for our progress monitoring. And we really looked hard yesterday, and it will again tomorrow with the rest of our staff on if kids are making adequate progress, and are those interventions that we have in place rocking and rolling, or are there some things that we need to consider to help kids get where we need them to be? And so super excited about that. Recently, the state released the accountability reports for state assessments. And while we're not quite where we want to be as a building, our growth from the last time we took the assessment to this one, our aim lines look great in every single category. And so I'm very thrilled with what our kids did for us, even through COVID and through the yuck that's been. But I'm super, super proud of everything that our kids and our staff are doing. And so thankful to have some data to share with parents too, because we were able to talk about that last night at Site Council as well. Mrs. Henderson?
Yes. So the other goal that we set was just to find some joy, because times are very difficult right now. And every day we ask our students and our staff to come to school, and it's hard, and to give their best. And so some of the pieces that we put in place, I'm going to start at the top in the middle. Sam is our Blackmore therapy dog, and we're very blessed to be able to have him spend 3 days a week with us. And our kids really connect with him. We do something called Stroll with Sam in the spring and the fall. And then in the winter months, we do something called Stretch with Sam. And it's just a time in the morning for kids to come, and they spend some time with me. We do some yoga stretching, or we do some walking on the track. And we engage in some non-contingent attention and conversation, building those skills and setting goals. And so that's pretty awesome. You can see that at the top. Going to the left there, you see we had a staff outing at the park, and we brought together our Blackmore staff and their families, which is just our opportunity to come together and celebrate and love on each other. And that's really important so that we can continue doing what we're doing every day. At the bottom there, you see our monthly character trait award winners. We have a character trait of the month that goes along with our USD 490 calendar. And each month, our teachers choose 2 scholars in their classroom who embody that trait. And they receive an award certificate, and we have a popsicle party. And so we'll be doing that next week to celebrate this month's character trait. Going up, you see 2 staff members walking in the hallway. On Tuesdays, we have what we call walk and talk time. And that's an opportunity for all of the grownups in the building to join with someone that might not necessarily work in their hall and just have some just general conversation. This has really helped the collegiality in our building, and it helps us cross those halls that sometimes can get kind of, we just get really teamy with our hallways. And so this gives us an opportunity to really connect with other people. You can also see there to the right, we do One School, One Book, which is an opportunity for our families to read a book together with their students and our school staff. It's also an opportunity to really instill the love of reading it for families. We talk a lot about tech addiction, and so much of what we do is driven by technology. But this gives our kids and our families a chance to pick up a book, to feel it, to touch it, to smell it. And as a reader, that makes my heart super happy. Right over here on the far right side of the screen, one of the initiatives we started this year was Affirmation Stations. We really want kids to really embody that script of I am good, I am worthy, there's lots of great things about me. And so we started with just one right outside my office, and it gives kids an opportunity to just stop and look at themselves and talk. I wrote a pie grant and was awarded a pie grant in the fall to put an affirmation station in every hallway. And so that will be happening next week. I'm super excited about that. So we really just want to continue focusing on joy, how we bring ourselves joy, and how we can find joy in the friends that we spend every day with.
So that's kind of us in a nutshell. Again, we are very, very proud of everything that our staff, our students are doing. Our families are just incredible. And again, like Christy's shirt says, we're all about family. So BE family, that's right. So I think I can't find my cursor anymore. I don't know where it went. Okay, there. I think there it is.
So those of us in Wildcat land, as you said earlier, are as proud of you. And earlier this week, I'm not going to let you go without talking about this. Earlier this week, Dr. Lindsay Brown was with us. I believe she works at Wichita State, maybe. I don't know where she works.
Right now, she is a assistant clinical professor at Emporia State University. And she's the president of the Kansas School Counseling Association and current Kansas School Counselor of the Year.
Yay. So I knew she was at the Kansas School Counselor Association because she was here to award Mr. Sheets with the 2021 Kansas Principal Advocate of the Year Award. So congratulations. We appreciate everything you do for kids. And she didn't stop there. She also awarded Mrs. Henderson the 2021 Kansas School Counselor of the Year runner-up. And so we are super proud of you both. Everything you just talked about is all the hard work that you do every single day. And we appreciate you more than you know. More than 23 inches of snow. How's that? In one little drift right there. So
yeah, we'll see. I went out there again. I tried again to get outside, and I was able to get outside by the playground. I tried to get in the early childhood playground. It wasn't really working out for me. I'll have to replace Mr. Pyle's curtains because I pulled those down on accident. But I'm gonna attempt. I had lots of requests for me to go down the slide and to make a snow angel. So I found some gloves in our closet. That was one of the things I said. I was like, I don't have any gloves, guys. And it was really cold. So I'm gonna try after this. We'll see what happens. I know you can hear it, but we'll see. Hey, I gotta have fun. I'm the only one here. Gotta get some joy in here, Christy. That's right.
That's right.
Remember what we talked about in the safety committee.
Safety first.
I got gloves now.
We appreciate you. We know how hard you work in Blackmore Bears. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Thank you for joining us for Wildcat Wednesday. We will be back on same link next week. And we look forward to seeing you. Everybody stay safe, stay warm. And yes, just in case you're watching, if we're making a call for tomorrow, we'll make it later this afternoon. So I'm not sure what that'll look like. I'll see what Mother Nature does. So have a good afternoon and thank you for joining us. Take care. Bye.